Uh, in this video, we'll be talking about another um, tool that is available in the set of tools given by Google, that is Google Forms. So what is the connection between Google Forms and Google Classrooms? I will establish that connection in another video. But how to create Google Forms? What are Google Forms? So Google Forms is a tool that is available in the same list of things in which you have the Google Classroom and the Google Drive and so on. So here are the forms. It's a kind of purple icon, hard to miss. So you click on that and you'll go to Google Forms. Now, Google Forms is a very simple and easy way in which you can share a questionnaire with a group of people. You can create assignments, you can invite people, you can evaluate things. So there are a lot of it's a very a lot of utilities for this, and it's a very simple way in which you can in one window get inputs from a large number of audience. And the back end of these forms, that is, once you get your inputs, the way in which the backend is organized is also very interesting and useful. So that is why I want to share something about Google Forms right now. So I can take a blank Google form, or I can use the template gallery. I find the template gallery to be quite useful because you can kind of look it up and find out whichever form of template is useful for you in terms of like a quiz and so on. So I'm going to sort of go ahead and use one of my older templates. Um, I have rotational motion one over here, so I'll use that. So this was an earlier Google form that I had used to give an assignment to my class 8 students. And you can see the questions that are there over here, and the answers that will be written by them. There are various forms of answers. You can get long answer text questions. You can have them do multiple choice questions. You can also give checkbox type questions where they can choose more than one response, and they will also, their responses are also noted down over here. So how can I use this form to create a new form? Let me see. So I'm going to start creating the Google form by just clicking on the blank template over here. Okay, so I have the blank template that is opened up over here, and I'm going to rename this form as rotational motion. Sorry, I won't do that. Rotational motion. I can call it RCQ2 because I have given one assignment before which was called the RCQ. RCQ stands for review check questions, and this is RCQ2. Form description, I can write questions based on the concepts of center of center of gravity, centrifugal force, angular. These were the last three topics that I taught to my class. So these are the topics on which I need to give the assignment. So my question now. So I can go ahead and type the questions that I have in my mind or that I am taking off a textbook. What I have done is I have copied down, I have typed out the questions that I want to ask from the textbook that I am using over here, so that I can easily cut and paste the questions. Okay. So now the next important thing. So reading this question, I get a sense of what type of answer that I want from my students. So this kind of question is typically a question for which students will have to write a paragraph. They have to write a longish answer to give the answer to that question. So therefore, I can change the format of the question to that of a paragraph. A short answer is typically just a numerical answer, so that doesn't usually work well for these kinds of descriptive answers. So choosing paragraph works. You can also see that there are multiple choices, checkboxes, drop down, and also a file upload, which I will talk about a little later in another video. So this is done now. I have selected the paragraph. So then I can go ahead and add another question. So that is the button to add another question. So when I do that, the first question is already taken into consideration. Now it's at the second question. So I go there, and here I have the second question. I'm just copying this down and I'm pasting it over here. So looking at this kind of question, right, this is a typical question for which a binary answer is possible. So it's either a yes or a no. So here I can use the multiple choice option, and option 1 I can put yes, and option 2 I can put no. Okay, so that will that makes it clear. Is the center of gravity of an irregularly shaped body at its geometric center, yes or no? There are only two questions, two answers that are possible. And then I can move on to another question. So already I have created two questions, and then I can go ahead and create the third question. Copy down the question, put it out over here, and then depending upon the question, select which type of answer you want to write. In this, I would like to have a descriptive answer, so I'm going for a paragraph. So in this way, I can create the assignment, and once I have created the entire assignment, I can look at certain things, like say for example, in the settings. So there is a settings button over here. In the settings, one good idea is to collect the email addresses of the respondents. So when students take the form, that means they fill in the form, they will, their email IDs will be automatically collected. Of course they will be informed about this, and it's useful for us when the responses come in to know from which email ID the responses have come. And in the case of students, anyway, we know they're all falling within the same domain. So we are all working in the sayadrischool.org domain. So there should be no problem in terms of any kind of an security protocol to use their email IDs. And you can limit the student responses to one response. Otherwise, sometimes they can take multiple responses and it can create a problem. There is a restriction for only Sayadri School KFI and trusted organizations to use it. That's already there. Respondents can edit the entry after submission. They can request you for this after they have entered the form and say that, well, I made a mistake, I think I got the correct answer. You can allow them to edit later. So it's not a good idea to do it right at the beginning. And see summary charts and text responses. I will speak about this at a later video. So then you save this setting. So the only important thing is collecting the email ID of the respondents and restricting their responses to only one response. And how to share this form with your users, that we will see in another video.